Hello and welcome to another episode of Gas It Out. We've got Colin Edwards coming up. Massive technical issues recording this one. So Neil Hodgson's voice goes robotic at times. My internet dropped out on 4 or 5 occasions. Colin, meanwhile, was absolutely bemused and oblivious to it. But hopefully it doesn't affect your listening experience too much. But we do apologise in advance. And, of course, being Colin Edwards and Neil Hodgson, there's a few swear words, but it's actually not as bad as it might be. We didn't need to get the bleep button out too much. Not that we have one anyway. I mean, that'd be boring, wouldn't it? Enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of Gas It Out. My name is Gavin Emmett. On the other end of the internet connection, I'm hoping, is Neil Hodgson. Hello, hello.
I'm here, Gav.
I thought you were about to do a trick on me then. Honestly,
I thought about it as well.
Did it cross your mind? Just go.
Yeah, and then I couldn't think of anything, so I just shouted, "I'm here, Gav." That's so crap, innit? Hey, God, what a great one-liner. Go on, say it again, Neil. I'm here, Gav. Yeah, sorry, I don't know. I was going to try and do a robot voice for some reason.
Oh, I can do robot voice. I can turn you into a robot. There's a setting on here I can do that.
Is there?
Yeah.
Don't bother.
You're outside again? But I noticed that you appear to have shot the pigeon.
Yeah, there's a pigeon around. I'm in the countryside. I went for a walk because at home Vic is on conference calls all day. And she gets proper grumpy when I'm on the phone because, as she says in her words, "You're deaf. Why do you shout all the time?"
Ah.
Which, you know me well, Gav.
Yeah,
We are slightly deaf, aren't we, though, because of our bloody jobs.
Completely.
I've been in and around bikes all our lives, and it's like, I've been for hearing tests. I'm quite deaf.
In certain frequencies, same here. Right, We've got a problem on the computer. It has died on me, and it stopped recording. So give me 2 seconds. I wonder if the other one is still recording, I think. But I might have to shut down and start again. Oh, I can't believe we're having technical issues. It's just so not like us, is it?
Yeah. Who would have thought it? Episode 17.
Oh, God. And it's episode 17.
Yeah, I just said that.
I'm joking. That was my funny joke. But about unlucky number in Italy. You know, like they don't have a number 13 on British Airways. Well, they didn't used to. They do now. They don't have a number 17 in Italy on Alitalia.
I did not know that.
There we are.
Oh, there you
Fact of the day. Right, I'm going to have to stop and start again.
Okay.
Because it says the disc is too slow.
Right.
I don't know what that means, but obviously something's happening. So 2 seconds.
No worries.
Does that sound louder when I go? Oh, there we are. It's just switched itself on. How weird.
That is weird.
Anyway, it appears that everything's going now. So where were we anyway? Before we were interrupted technically.
Yeah, where were we?
Oh, you've been sent out. You've been sent out, hadn't you? By Vic into the garden.
Oh, yeah, because I'm deaf.
Yeah. Mutt and Jeff.
Yeah, completely. But yeah, we don't fall out much, me and Vic, as you know. We got on really well. But I tell you what, looks could kill occasionally when I'm talking loud and she's on the phone. Or the worst one that I've been doing recently, and I genuinely mean this, I've not done it on purpose, but she's warned me about it. What I do is we've got a downstairs toilet, and I do piss like a racehorse, and it's loud, and I've got the door open, and she's on a
I can imagine you doing it right down the middle of the pan.
Yeah, but I don't. But what happens?
Why don't you go for the sides?
No, I know, but listen, last week, so I did it by mistake. You know, I held my hand up, I walked out.
Well, you held your hand up. Whoa, what we did with the other
one? But I could, like, if looks could have killed when I walked out from the toilet, she just looked at me to go, "You absolute dick." Right, so fair enough. No, fair enough. And I went, "Oh, sorry. Right, I promise you this happened about 2 hours later. Something happened and I was rushing around and I thought, I need a pee. And as soon as it hit the water, I thought, oh, God. And do you know what? She slammed the toilet door behind me. It did make me laugh. I didn't do it on purpose.
I know you're oblivious. Just absolutely oblivious, aren't you?
Do you know what? I used to share a room with Simon Crafer when we did track days. for focused events back in the day, and he'd go to bed before me. Don't say anything. Obviously, he must go to bed early. So we were sharing a room, and he was like, I can't do his accent because he's got a South African, a New Zealand accent. And but he's like, man, because he speaks soft, and he's like, man, you piss loud. You piss loud. You know. So what I started doing to like sort of make him laugh, but also wind him up a little bit, was when I'd come in, obviously I'd be a bit leathered, so I'd stand on the toilet, so then it was even like a bigger drop down, so it was even louder.
Wait a second. Explain the physics of this.
Because the higher you are, the louder it's going to be.
So you're going for you're as if doing it from a high-rise building. Like
exactly.
You stand on the sink if needs be, just to get higher.
I wouldn't go that far because obviously, but imagine that. I'd
side of the bath.
Seen, like, yeah, I'd do side of the bath. But like, if you could see, bear in mind, I'd be like 5 pints in, so I'd be past the sweet spot, trying to aim into the toilet just to wake Simon up. Yeah. Oh, how we laughed. I wonder why, when he stopped, when he stopped doing the track days, he never really texted me again.
Anyway, funny that, isn't it? Funny.
Yeah.
You're getting a little bit of drop out of your signal. I don't know whether you're far away from anything.
Well, I've got 4G.
Yeah, no, but it might. It's just like this 4G is lower or something. I don't know. It was just dropping out a little bit, but. We'll do. I mean, we are. I do apologise for our technical issues. I'm having a nightmare with my computer. Keeps saying it's going to crash. Neil's on his phone in the garden because he's been kicked out for being too loud. And
I'm actually in the field next to my house, to be honest.
Oh, in the field next. He's in the field next to his house, so you can understand why that might drop out here and there.
Sat on a tree stump with my shirt off.
Obviously, with the shirt off. I mean, but you understand that's what he deals in. He deals in. Practicing photo shoots. I deal in basically nothing technical. So a couple of people on the last podcast with Lucho said it was a bit loud in the background. I thought I'd done a good job at mitigating it, to be honest, but obviously I didn't. So I do apologise. But we do our best, don't we, Neil? That's all we're here to do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, with limited resources and major lack of intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
From both parties.
And talking of major lack of intelligence, let's talk about our guest today, Neil, which he would laugh about. Obviously, we work closely with Colin Edwards at BT now, but I've known Colin since he came into Grand Prix, but you'll know him since long before that, Neil.
Yeah, I think I first got to know him in 1996 when he was factory Yamaha World Superbike rider. Back then, do you know what, Colin? Obviously, you know this about him. Colin's always been the same. What he was back then is what he is now. So, in the height of his fame, he never changed. He's always been just a laid-back Texan who doesn't really care about much. Not in a horrible way. He's just so laid back. I can't believe how fast he was on two wheels. I can't believe how successful he is, because the person we know is not. Doesn't appear to be obsessively driven. He's just a dude. He's just happy, isn't he? He's not like a Ben Bostrom laid back Californian.
No, but I think the way you said it to me once, which was quite good. He goes, Colin never goes on about how good he was. He never goes on about how, because he made some decent money because he had some good contracts. Never goes on about the stuff that he's got. He never
ever.
He just doesn't. It's like you wouldn't know it if you didn't know him. He's just the bloke who likes a beer and likes to ride some bikes sometimes.
Yeah, and I don't know if he'd mind me saying this, but to say he's scruffy, I want to insult him.
You might have to explain what scruffy was. I don't know whether that translates.
Yeah, but he just doesn't care. So he'll have the same pair of jeans on he's had for 5 years. Because, well, they're comfy, aren't they? They're all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What if it ain't broke, don't fix it? It's that kind of mentality, isn't it?
He's superb to work with, isn't he? Because of all those traits, he's just easy.
Yeah, completely. Right, we know him well, obviously, and so let's give him a call right now. It's just going to be like a catch-up because I haven't spoken to him since lockdown started. So let's see what Cole's got to say. I'd expect the first line to be, dude!
Yeah. What up?
Right, calling him live. Let's see if this works. That took a roundabout route. Roundabout route. That's what I say in America, Neil.
What route are you taking?
Yeah. What's the one? Is it in Japan where we have the in shortly after in 100 meters?
Good meters.
Yo,
Yo,
Shorty.
y'all there?
Yeah, can you hear us?
I got you loud and clear.
How are you?
Good, mate. Just working away, moto dad shit, changing oil and top ends and all that good stuff.
Are you in the are you in the garage then? Are you fettling?
Yeah, I'm at the boot camp in the shop.
Brilliant. And you have become motocross dad, haven't you, Colin? Now.
Yeah, full on, dude. Full on. I got 2 brand new bikes shipped here last week. Stripped them all apart. Motors sent off. Suspension sent off. I mean, it's swing arms sent off. It's crazy.
Where did it all go wrong? Because you've always said, I am not going to be that guy.
Man, I wish I knew where it went wrong. But I think, honestly, I mean, Hayes has always been into moto. I think he was just kind of scared to tell me he wanted to go race, to be honest. I mean, not that he should be scared, but he, just the way that I talked about it, I guess.
I don't know, Colin. Maybe... I'd be scared if I had to tell you. I'd be scared. I've seen your armory. I'd be so. How old's Hayes now?
He just turned 14. Yeah, 14 and a half.
And so, what's the plan now? Is he? Because obviously, I know how fast he is on the. He has been around your ranch now, but now you go motocrossing. What's he doing? Is he competing?
Yeah, we went and raced this past weekend, and he's running right up there with the front guys. Finished. I think he got 2/3, but the 2 guys in front of him were literally right there, and it was his 4th race.
That's it. Are we talking like national level then? They're the top guys, as in like, if you were to do Loretta's or something like that, it's the top men. Points.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he's top 3.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's. I'm telling you, dude, his level is freaking nuts. I told him back in November, I said, I'll take you public when you can beat me, and that lasted about 2 weeks.
That's a confident dad. You're thinking, well, he ain't gonna smoke me for ages, so that's gonna buy me some time. Wrong.
Yeah, no, it's nuts, man. We got building super mini bikes, and fortunately, obviously, we were thinking about going to a KTM or a Husky because the unit seems to be a better unit stock, but Yamaha kind of stepped up to the plate and helping us out a whole bunch. So that's
okay. Can I just explain to everybody that's listening, like the best motocross riders in the world normally come from America, and the amateur level, the schoolboy level, is so high, so competitive. For Hayes, Colin's son, who's, like Colin's just said, just getting into it. Obviously, he's rode motorbikes all his life, but to be at that level already is off the scale. It's amazing. It means he's already in a position where he could get signed up by a factory team and get paid.
Yeah.
Get
absolutely.
paid, Colin. How good's that?
I know, dude. Come on with it. My bank account's dwindling. Obviously, I'm not working, so come on with it.
Brilliant.
That's awesome.
We've seen, haven't we, Neil, how fast he is at the boot camp too, around that place.
I nearly had him.
He's been smoking people there for ages.
Oh man, he's been killing us for the last, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years. I mean, nobody can touch him. I think he just got bored with it and said, "You guys are a bunch of squirrels. I'm gonna go do something else."
That's so.
How is it at the boot camp? Have you? Because obviously things have been different in terms of lockdown. I don't know what it's been like in coming out of it. I think you've been able to come out of it a bit earlier than us over in the States, or particularly in Texas anyway. So what's the situation now in terms of, are you allowed to start getting people over, or is it allowed to run?
We're still not sure of that, to be honest with you.
Right.
I mean, we've had more or less boot camp's been on lockdown. It's been our own personal little sanctuary that we can come and kind of ride and still stay active. But I'm not sure, to be honest. We have a Mad Dog event that we're going to run June 6th. So we're kind of hoping that we won't get any trouble from, I don't know, police or whatever. They haven't specifically said we can't do it. They haven't said we can do it. So we're going to do the social distancing thing, obviously, but everybody's just hungry to get here. Everybody wants to come and play and ride their bikes. I think everybody's tired of this COVID thing. On saying that, it's like, I think today or yesterday was the highest amount of cases we had in Texas so far. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
And how many was that, Colin? Do you know the figure?
Oh, maybe 100 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's worrying times, I think, for everyone, isn't it, around the world? And who knows what the situation is or how it's going to improve or whatever. But when it's a business that you run as well, Colin, that brings a whole new factor in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And, obviously government's trying to help everybody out and spreading money out so people can survive. But the way my business is structured, everybody's kind of under contract. So I don't have employees per se. It's I'm just sitting here draining the funds and waiting for this to get over.
Yeah, I think there's so many people. For those who don't know, Colin, we're talking about the Texas Tornado Boot Camp that Colin obviously set up after his career. Oh, was it towards the end of your career actually you got it going?
It was our first camp was March 24, 2011. So I still had another 3 years in me after that.
Okay, yeah. So it's just about an hour to the north of Houston. Is that fair? That's the rough idea. Yep. And I've been about 2 or 3 times. It's such a great time to be had, isn't it, Neil? What a place to have in your backyard.
It's amazing, and I'm sure Colin will back me up. Gav, you're such a natural. What a wasted talent. You've been
natural
presenter all these years, but you could have been the man actually racing. Yeah. Do you feel like you've wasted your time, Gav?
I do. I feel like I was made to turn left.
Gav's one of them. When you see him on a dirt bike, you look at him and you think you definitely should stick to golf. It's just
100%. I'll back you up on that.
Yeah.
A quick question, Colin, which is going off on a tangent. I know you conversations you thought you'd never have. I know we don't want to get into too much detail with politics, and I know you're pro-Trump, and that's all great. Each to their own. What do you think though when he does some of these bizarre interviews and he said some dumbass stuff? He said some not so dumb stuff, but like the stuff about the bleach or disinfectant or something. What do you feel like is hang on, this guy's bloody leading our country? It's slightly embarrassing.
Like you said, to each his own. I think you have to look at the whole big picture and look at who could potentially take his place, and that looks even more scary. So kind of don't really have a choice at this time. But some dumb stuff comes out every now and then, but take it with a grain of salt. I think he's just being a comedian and being funny about it.
Yeah. Is his hair real, or what's going on with his hair? We don't know.
Yeah, man, it looks kind of unreal. I'm not sure about that one.
It's not Keith Ewan level, but it's.
I can't believe you're digging Keith out again, Neil. That's the second time in about 3 podcasts now. It's out of order.
I love Keith. You can take the piss out of your mates.
Exactly.
Hey, so what's going on with you guys? Are y'all on permanent lockdown? Can y'all leave the house, or what's going on?
Yeah, well, it's starting to ease up a little bit here now. As much as you can, you're supposed to stay home. But if you can't work from home, you're supposed to go out there. But we for us guys, obviously, just like you, there's no bike racing, there's no TV job to go to, so they're not paying us to do nothing, so we're in that sort of situation. But it looks like we might get going in middle of July. Would you think that's possible? It sounds more and more likely, doesn't it, that something's happening there?
Well, yeah, fill me in. What is the deal? I mean, I've heard a little bit, but it's so wishy-washy. I just don't know what's true.
Well, because now, even in the UK, they say professional sport can sort of start getting going if all social distancing is respected from June. A lot of it behind closed doors, and it's a similar sort of story in Spain and Italy. So an application has been made to the Spanish government by Dorna to have back-to-back Grand Prix in Jerez, one weekend to the next, and then follow it with a round of the World Superbikes the following week. So 3 weekends in a row, 2 for Grand Prix, 1 for World Superbike. That it's still to be approved by the Spanish government, but the Spanish sporting department or association, like the Olympic Committee or something, they're behind it, and the local government down there in South Spain, Andalusia, are behind it. So by all accounts, it's going ahead. Valentino's been out on his ranch. I've just seen Mark and Alex Marquez have been out motocrossing. So you're allowed to, if you're a professional sportsman, you're allowed to train now if you do it responsibly. So it seems like it might happen to me. Hodgie was a complete no at start. You've changed your mind, haven't you, Neil?
Yeah, well, like I've said before, I'm quite fickle anyway. I change my mind really quickly. So, but you can imagine though. Like a month ago, I was like, "No, there's no way, nothing's going to happen." But it's looking a lot more positive, and now I'm a genuine believer that it's going to happen in July, because everybody that I've spoke to that would know said, they're gonna make it happen. So happy days.
I'm assuming that's just basically essential. The people that have to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah, we won't be going.
Yeah,
no TV. No TV stations will be going. Well, they only probably. Oh, well, obviously Dorna.
Team personnel and obviously Dorna to run the show, but also the camera operators. So there is because there's no fans on site, so they have to. The main thing is the TV, so they're going to have the full coverage, because otherwise nobody's going to see it. And we know that it's all a big circle, isn't it, in the sport anyway? So, and in terms of the teams, no hospitalities. Lucia Cecchinello was saying just strip down their number of staff to the bare minimum. So,
oh hey, I was talking to Paul Sannon the other day, and he mentioned, I think maybe 2 or 3 hospitalities are going to be there, is what they're talking about.
Yeah,
just to feed everybody.
It's to feed people as a kind of canteen sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But Davide Brivio was saying that effectively people would be confined to your garage, like your team becomes your family, almost. And so you come to the racetrack, you go to the garage, and that's it. You have your lunch in there, you leave at the end of the day, and you all stay in your own hotel and that sort of thing. So it's going to be a weird one.
Yeah, it is. Colin, have you...
That still seems risky, though. I don't know. You're getting together with a bunch of guys. You don't know where they've been.
And they're all being tested as well.
Okay.
4 days before the start of the weekend, and during the weekend, and then after the weekend, and temperature checks every day, that kind of thing.
Okay. All right.
No, that's interesting, isn't it? How have you found it, though, Colin? Because you've been travelling the world since 96, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, 95. So and now you're at home full time. Obviously, we'd all had winter, and then we expected to start working and traveling. Has it been a blessing? Has it been better than you thought? Obviously, you've had more time to spend with Hayes, which is important. How have you taken it?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I miss it a little bit. My wife, she misses it a lot. She's like, get the hell out of here. But it's been, as far as hanging out with the family, and we still we can go out on the boat. That's social distancing with your family. So we've been on the boat out in the lake, and obviously riding lots of time with Hayes and the kids. So that part's been a blessing for sure. And I make a joke about it, but Hayes, there's going to be a time when he gets on the podium and he's going to say, I want to thank my mom and dad and all my sponsors, and COVID-19 it made me fast as hell.
Yeah.
Because all he's been doing is riding instead of going to school. So he's had plenty of time.
What about the baseball, though? Has that stopped?
Yeah, stopped.
Wow. He's serious.
He's not a team sport player, man. It just, he'd been doing that.
But when he was playing baseball, was he a pitcher, though? Because it all feeds in.
Yeah, he was a pitcher, shortstop. I mean, he was one of the better players on the team. But I don't know, man. He's done what I did in motocross. Basically, from age 3 to 14, I motocross, got burnt out. He played baseball in that amount of time and just got burnt out.
Yeah.
So it's the practice and heat and sitting around for 2 hours at practice. He was over it.
Do you know what, Colin? It's funny when to hear you talk, and we were talking about you before you came on. Sorry to say, but we were saying all nice things, obviously. But we were all saying, always saying how laid back you always seem to us, and how you come across, and you're humble, and you never go on to us about what you achieved in your career, so on and so forth. But since retiring, you've kept things going. In the fact you were test riding for quite a while, still working on that. You've done all the TV stuff with us. You've done stuff in the States as well. You've got the boot camp. You're so driven. Yet to meet you and to talk to you, we wouldn't have known it. Do you recognise that you're an ambitious, driven sort? You obviously were to win your 2 world championships as well. I'm not saying that, but how do you see yourself? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's I haven't been diagnosed yet, but I definitely have some sort of OCD. Once I get shown a path, I'm wide open. I don't really know how to sit on the couch and do nothing. So, and I mean, it was golf, it was ping pong, motocross. I mean, you name it, wakeboarding. Went wakeboarding one day, bought a boat the next day. So I kind of, when I get on to things, and now it's Moto Dad, fixing bikes and go to the racetrack. I mean, that's to be honest, the path I'm on now is probably the one I've been waiting for, to support my kid and go out to the races. But yeah, I mean, as far as everyday life, we all put our pants on one leg at a time. I don't see any reason to be anything other than laid back.
Obviously, when you started, you talked about there how you got burnt out motocrossing. Because was it quite a late switch to road racing, or was that just the sort of age you did that when you switched over in the States, and then you were riding 250s or whatever you were doing?
Yeah, well, it was a weird time, to be honest, because I was 14, 4'11", 85 pounds. I mean, I was the littlest guy on the grid, and just was getting my butt kicked, even though talent-wise I was probably one of the top 3 or 4 in the country. And just got, I mean, that practicing every day, forgetting to wash your gear, putting on a smelly helmet every day. And it was like, it clean filters, try to get homework done, wash the bike. I mean, all this stuff. It was just full-time job. So, and then, I played tennis for a couple of years. And then my dad, senior, he had a plan. He's like, hey, let's go look at the road races and just go check it out. Thought, okay. Went out there, and a guy that I was mopping the floor with motocross, and he was winning a road race. I thought, well, that's weird. I mean, if he can do it, I know I can give it a go. So the rest is kind of history.
But you got snapped up quickly. I mean, you went from like 0 to hero. Like, I don't remember you ever being slow. Just tell us quickly about those first years. What, like, the progression of what happened.
Yeah, we did. I got my license in 90, at the end of 90 in September. And then 90, I wanted to go straight to expert because I was already, like you said, fast, kind of figured it out pretty quick. And Connie Brothers here, she said, in our local club, she said, just stay novice for 1 year. I promise you, just it'll be better. And I went that whole year and just went undefeated. And I'd start in the second wave of the novice class and win pass all the experts and win overall. So, and it's, that's on a CBR 600. We didn't have anything done to it. We had an exhaust on it. So and then obviously OTS, Mr. Clementage, he had an RC30, a TZ250. He saw some talent in me and he said, hey, come ride these bikes. They need to be ridden. I got them. And it kind of, I had a bit of luck with that also. And then just did that year undefeated, and we started that 250 program. My dad did in 92. Yamaha helped us out a lot, and then it just kept going from there. But yeah, you're right. I was never really slow. I just picked it up pretty quick.
And is that when you were teammates with Kenny Roberts Jr.? 92.
We weren't teammates, but yeah, he was on his team, and I was teammates with Chris DeLucio.
All right.
But yeah, we had Jimmy Felice was riding that year, Rich Oliver. I mean, there was that 250 year was a pretty stacked year.
Did you win, Colin?
Oh yeah. I think I won 5 out of the 9 races, won the championship.
Yeah, just saying.
Not bad. But then obviously was it 95 then you ended up and you'd gone over to World Superbikes, and plugged away at that
Yeah.
with Yamaha for a while. I'm just looking at it from where World Superbike is now. What was it like back then?
Man, it was awesome. I mean, I loved it. It's still, when I look back at my time in Europe, I mean, that not necessarily 95 because we were kind of traveling around in the car, but 96 kind of had my feet wet. We had a motorhome. That 96 to 2002, those were years that are hard to beat. The World Superbike paddock was just so much fun. I mean, you know, Haji knows we'd all get around, barbecue, and travel with each other from race to race, stop off at a campsite. It was a lot of fun.
And who was it then you were hanging out with? Who were the people you'd hook up with when you were in between races over in Europe?
Oh gosh, Carl Mugridge, Ben Bostrom, honestly, Peter Goddard a bit, Haji a bit. We all just kind of, like I said, we all had our girlfriends or wives, and everybody it was a big family atmosphere.
And do you know what? I've said this before, Gav, and I'm sure you've heard this one before. It was weird at the time because Colin was so fast and I was struggling, and I was training and I was always trying to make myself better in some way, shape or form. And Colin did nothing. But he did. What I mean is, he didn't do I wouldn't see him out running or doing conventional training routines. He was always active, so we'd be playing tennis or like rock climbing or whatever. And I'd always see Colin drinking beer, and I'd be like, well, no, I'm not. I was obsessed, like just weirdo. So I'd be going through a period of not drinking because I thought that was going to make me faster, which, by the way, if anyone's listening, it doesn't. Just drink. Just drink. Because it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. But Colin never got sucked into any bullshit. He just looked like he had a good time, and the more relaxed he was, the more beer he drank. You get to the track you'd arrive at the track having been on campsites, and that free practice one, he'd be 1.5 seconds faster than everybody else, and you'd be like, "You bastard! You
Hey, that beer's got vital carbohydrates in it."
It's recovery, isn't it? It's recovery. You need all those important minerals and vitamins that there is in beer. That much is definitely certain. It clicked, didn't it? Really, when you switched to Honda, though. In World Superbikes, was the Yamaha? I can't remember that time. Was the Yamaha program not funded right?
It wasn't bad, the Yamaha program, to be honest. But we had obviously we're on Dunlops. We were on a 3 or 4 year old bike, but we had the bike so jacked up, we had to run like a 21 offset just to get any weight on it. I mean, it was just weird how you had to set that thing up to race it. In saying that, I mean, me and Noriyuki Haga, we won the 8-hour on it in 96. So the bike, it wasn't bad, but it was just hard to compete with the Michelin's, Honda, Ducati. It was tough.
And was the 8-hour bike better than the Superbike, which you normally see?
Wait, I missed that. Say again.
Sorry, was the 8-hour bike though better than the actual World Superbike bike you were using? Because it's like you go to Japan,
I wouldn't say the 8-hour
factories.
Oh,
yeah, I wouldn't.
You're dropping out a bit, Neil. Sorry. I think Colin's got the same as me. It's a bit robot.
I wouldn't say the 8-hour bike was any better. It was obviously bigger, heavier. But me and Noriyuki set it up together, and it seemed to work. But I think the biggest thing with the World Superbike Yamaha is obviously tire situation. We struggled with that Kobe earthquake. I think was in '94, and it kind of jacked up the Dunlop plant that was making the good tires. For Dunlop, and we struggled for a few years with that.
What was it like being teammates with Haga there then? Because he's wild. Like then, he was a raw talent, wasn't he? Remember when he first burst onto the scene?
Yeah, he was something else. A quick story about Nori. I was supposed to be teammates in '96 with Yoshikawa, which was my World Superbike teammate, and we went there testing, and I saw this kid on the All Japan team out there testing with us, and he is smoking the rear tire, sliding it in. I mean, just, his style. He was just wild. And I actually went to Mr. Io after that, and I said, you know what? I'm just sitting here thinking me and him would probably be better teammates than me and Yoshikawa, because I know Yoshikawa sets the bike up. So we swapped bikes at that test just so I could ride his, he could ride mine. And I said, yeah, the rear of this one feels really good, better than mine. And Haga come in, he goes, the front of this bike is amazing, feels really good. So like you do, which never works, we put his rear and my front together and combined them, and it worked like a champ, believe it or not. So that was kind of our setting, and we went with it.
When was that? Before he'd done a wild card in Grand Prix? Because I remember I'm sure he had a wild card, didn't he, somewhere in Suzuka?
Yeah, he did.
Where he's like burst onto the scene. And you're like, was that before or after? Oh, we can't hear you, Neil. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can hear me. You've turned in.
Or the year. I think that I can hear you.
You've turned into whatchamacallit. 98.
Sounds like R2D2.
It does, yeah. It's like something off of Doctor Who.
All right.
So I don't know
Sorry
where you've
about
gone to. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
I haven't moved, Gav. I'm in the same place.
We'll just cut you out.
It'll be better for it. It'll be a good podcast.
But Haga, yeah, what a character of a rider anyway. Though you both have stories about Norrie. Blimey, I only remember him from when he came over to Grand Prix in 2001. We had him when we were showing the 2001 season at the weekend, and I was thinking, wow, what an absolute character he was on and off the bike.
Oh man, he was awesome. Yeah, I just saw him at that Akropovich deal that we did last year. He came and had dinner with us. Still looks the same. He's supporting his kids racing as well. But yeah, back then he wasn't scared to have a drink and get a little loopy as well. Come Sunday night, it was we always had some good times.
Is he involved in racing now? Still, is he still?
I think his both of his kids are racing in the Italian Championship.
All right, that's random.
Yeah, he was in Milan. He had a little sushi restaurant in Milan there. I don't know if he still does, but I know he did a couple of years ago.
Wow, amazing.
I know you'd always see him out in the back of by the motorhomes with a cigarette in his hand, and I could never get my head around that. I'm like, wow, he even smokes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What? Whilst I was weighing my milk out, well, obviously it was soy milk. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
And it wasn't just tobacco, by all accounts, allegedly. I'll just back it up with that.
That's another story also. That's for another podcast.
Yeah, exactly. At that time, obviously, Colin, you went on and you won the championship with a gap in between, and you were in a fierce battle at the time with Troy Bayliss in particular. Everyone always goes on about 2002 Imola, that showdown, which was a cracking race every time anyone watches it. It was a season of two halves. But I wonder, how did you and Troy get on at the time, or not?
Yeah, we did. That was the best thing about that year. We always got along really good. There was never any animosity or any jokes at any other's expense type thing. We were just two guys out there trying to do the business, and we got along fine. I wouldn't say we were friends like go hang out and have dinner, but come Sunday night, everybody was hanging out, having a beer, and BSing about the race that day. And
what about after Imola, 2002?
And that was that. I saw just a little clip. I forget, obviously, the moment, but the amount of times that me and him hugged, after the race was over, just congratulating each other. I would have done the same if he would have won. It was just a special weekend, a fun weekend. I think we're just both happy to be a part of it.
And it was one of those where it was a season of two halves in 2002 in particular, wasn't it? But that seemed to happen a lot in those days in World Superbike, where someone would dominate one half of the year and someone would find something halfway through. Or
yeah, and that's basically it. We had with Honda, we had to wait till the 8 hour was over. Once the 8 hour was over, then they would ship us a few parts. But that was I would say it was mid-season, but it was a little after mid-season, usually whenever the 8-hour was, and we get some upgrades. And that year we got exhaust and some engine mapping. We got a few little bits and bobs that I just remembered Oschersleben that year coming out of the last corner in the first practice, and Bayliss was in front of me, and I couldn't pass him all year. I mean, I'd sit behind him, draft him, go get out of the draft, and just get right back in the draft. I just could not pass him up to this point. And I remember coming out of the last corner, got in this draft, went by him, looked over at him, and I thought, oh, man, your ass is grass. I got you now.
Colin, was there a special front tyre that you found? You were doing a lot of testing at Michelin at their test.
Yeah.
So was that an old wives' tale?
Yeah, no. That's absolutely true. We were, I'd show up at Clermont-Ferrand at Michelin, and we'd have 30 front tires, and we were complaining a little bit the year before because you remember Bostrom went on that 6-race winning spree. The Dunlops were working really good, like at Silverstone, I think at Brands, and we were complaining that the Dunlop front was so much better than the Michelin. So I showed up one day, and they had 30 fronts for me to test, and they had bought 2 Dunlops and put them in the middle somewhere. And I was in a tent, had shade, and they had the front of the bike outside the tent, and they would never let me look at it. I'd just get on and blind test and go cut 4 laps, come in, say, whatever, that feels similar to the other one. Most Dunlops they put in at 12 and 21 or whatever it was, and both of them, I was like, that's not a Michelin. And I can tell you right now, that's not a Michelin. Y'all don't know how to build that kind of shit.
Brilliant.
But it was so much better. It was good. So then they engineered a front softer casing, basically. The one that I liked, it was the harder you broke, the harder you hit the front brake, the more it would turn in, and it would just squish down, put a big contact patch on the ground. It was there for all the Michelin guys to ride if they wanted, and they tried it, and Bayliss tried it. He hated it. But yeah, it worked good on our bike.
I tried it.
Oh.
I tried it the following year when I was on Michelin tyres. And
yeah?
I remember being all excited. Yeah, because I remember being excited thinking, I'm going to get this special front tyre and I'm going to be so fast. And we put it in and I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible. It's funny, isn't it?
But yeah, I don't think it didn't work with the Ducati. That tire, because the Ducati was a little bit looser anyways, flex compared to the Honda. So we needed that flex in the tire with the Honda.
Do you know what? It always amazes me to hear you talk about tyres and the feeling. I know, Colin, you did so much tyre testing throughout your career, a lot of it. Neil, you always say it's one of the most mind-numbing or one of the most boring things that you ever had to do. But it's the hearing you talk about feel and that feel through the front tyre and trying to put that into, how do you put that into layman's terms? How it comes, where you get that feeling from? Is it through your hands? Is it through your body, or just the way the bike's turning? Because it seems so alien to me.
Yeah, it's everything really. I mean, seat of the pants. I always like to, in layman's terms, put it this way: when you throw it in the corner and you're looking wherever you're looking, if the bike's not going where you're looking, there's something wrong. You got to figure something out. Figure out how to get more weight here, or less weight, and then you're feeling what it's doing in the handlebars, seat of the pants, what it's doing. So yeah, it's where the engine revs are at that time, if it's dragging or too free. So there's a ton of different things that you got to throw in there. But it is just feel, and that's just from lap after lap after lap of getting your bike dialed in. When you get your bike dialed in, then you start throwing tires at it.
Yeah, because your bike's got to be in the right place. You hated it, didn't you, Neil?
No, I didn't. I didn't absolutely hate it, because when you were racing, if you got the chance to tyre test, it was like an honour in a way, because you were then it meant you were in a really strong position where you could, like, the perfect example is Colin found a tyre that worked perfect for him, and then he could use that. So when I did some tyre testing with Michelin, it was like I say, it was an honour. It was hard, you know what I mean? And it's mind numbing, but you're always thinking, just imagine if this next tyre they put in, I can brake a fraction later, but still make it into the apex and get the bike stood up even earlier and the lap times quicker. So I didn't like it as much. I did some in 2007 with Bridgestone on the MotoGP bike, I did a lot, and they had me doing, because then I wasn't obviously MotoGP or anything. So I did all this shit, what I call shit tire testing, which was hard. And that's like, right, we need you to do a race run on that, that front tire, then on that front tire. One time in, I can't remember which, one of the tracks in Germany, we tested wet tires because Michelin wanted to make sure that they wanted to know how long a wet tire would last on a drying track. So it was the middle of summer, so they wet the track completely. They had like these two tractors just spilling water out everywhere. The water, by the way, was really dirty as well. So anyway, so they wet all the track, and then I had to ride round until basically the tire blew up, which was not very safe. But actually, that was a bit of fun because then you felt like Gary McCoy because it was easy to slide. But yeah, they have you doing all them sorts of stuff, which was that was quite interesting. But a lot of it it's a long day. At the end of the day, your hands are killing, you're blistered up, you're tired. And there's no pat on the back, if that makes sense. It's just like, oh, yeah, good job. As in, yeah, you've done your job, but there was no reward, really.
Yeah.
Apart from when you send an invoice in.
Yeah. And that all comes a little bit later. I mean, what do you think to how World Superbike's changed since you were both there, I suppose? Neil, you're still there all the time. I know we've talked about it when we spoke to Alex Lowe's here. But what do you think about the state of play in World Superbikes at the moment as former champions?
Honestly, I haven't been in that paddock in forever. I don't think I've been back. Maybe one time since I left that paddock, just to go spectate. But now it's way different. Just simply because for me, you've got a control tire, you've got electronics. We didn't have any of that back then. It was all right wrist and trying to extract the most out of what you had to work with. Now, and the same with MotoGP. I mean, the more electronics you have, the more you have to tune that, get your bike set up, get the electronics. There can be a second in the electronics if you get everything right. If it's bad, it's horrible. So it's I don't know. It's just different than it was.
Yeah, I think they've been so unlucky with what's happened with the virus, because this year on paper looks so exciting. It was an interesting round one, but that said, you can't always go off a Phillip Island race because you can sometimes bunch the field up. But the return of Honda, it was massive. The last time they fielded a full factory team was with Colin back in 2002. So we've got them this year with two riders. BMW, going into their second or third year. Full factory team, obviously Yamaha with new teams as well. So there was like 4 really good riders. Obviously Kawasaki with their 2 riders, obviously Alex and Johnny. Ducati. It just, on paper, it looked like, I tell you what, we could be on for a really, really good year. And then obviously everything's been spoiled. But like we said right at the beginning, potentially they will still race anyway. So it'll just be a much shorter season. But I think it'll be interesting to see how COVID-19 will affect the Superbike paddock, because I feel like it was just clearly got its head above water, and it was really healthy. And now, unfortunately, with this, the fear is that some of the manufacturers might just turn the tap, or just turn it back down a little bit and just focus on MotoGP. I hope not, obviously.
I always think, Colin, about you, when we were talking about Johnny Ray, and we had Johnny Ray on, and we were speaking to him about his opportunities that he got from Honda. He rode for Honda for years and obviously never won the championship, but won races for them and was promised constantly to come over to Grand Prix, and it never happened. You almost, I'm not saying you got the same treatment, but everyone had always expected you to be coming across, Colin's going to be the next factory Honda guy. And obviously when you had then made the switch over to Grand Prix, it was on the Aprilia. That was a funny time. How let down did you feel at the time?
Yeah, it was, man, that was such a weird little exchange that happened there, because I knew before the last race at Imola that the Honda program wasn't going to exist. So I had a contract signed with Ducati. Honda didn't have anything for me. And so I was going to ride, factory Ducati World Superbike. Contract was signed, sealed, delivered. And then after the race, I get a phone call from Honda saying, "Hey, what about if we do Bridgestones on the Konica Minolta team?" I guess that Tamada took over, and they wanted me to go do that, and that was their first option for me. I thought, man, you want me to go develop some tires that we don't even know? And I just didn't feel like that was the right move. And then money came into play, and it wasn't near enough money. So I was like, nah, that's not going to work. And then Aprilia called, and they brought 3 boatloads of money. And so I was like, well, and they wanted Michelin because they were on Dunlop the year before. So they said, if you can get Michelin, if you can con them into it, because I had a really tight relationship with them, obviously, we would like to do this. So, okay, so I talked to Michelin and Nicolas Goubert, he wasn't yes. He didn't say yes to begin with. He was like, oh, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. Let me see what I can do. And yeah, a few days later, he said, okay, if you want to do it, we'll support you. We'll put Michelin's on the Aprilia. So then I had to go back to Ducati and say, hey, I know we have a contract, but I won't be out there on the grid anyways, so you don't really need me here to do anything. Can I go to the Aprilia? Can I go ride MotoGP? And we were all super polite. I mean, everybody was cool about it. And Ducati basically, Domenicali and Tardozzi, and then they were like, hey, we don't want to get in the way of your future. We think you should be in Grand Prix as well. So we don't want to hinder that. But we do want an opportunity to sign you in 3 years. Go in there, get a couple of years, get your feet wet. And basically, if you are as good as you think you are, then we want you on.
Yeah, we lost Colin there. I lost Neil as well. In fact, it was the moment my whole internet died and I had to switch on to 4G because there was no broadband coming into my house. So, yeah, I do apologise. I apologise for all the drops. Neil, obviously, you could see was a little bit sketchy. And some of the levels, Colin was further away from the microphone than Neil. Look, it's just what we're dealing with. We're not sound people. I managed to get back in touch with him anyway. Right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
so I've had to go connect through 4G. My whole internet's died.
Yeah.
Which is great. How are you guys anyway? You having a nice time while I was away?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just talking about you, Gav.
Right.
Absolute utter wanker you are.
Charming.
Colin was saying, and I thought this was harsh, he was saying, I tell you what, he's such a flaky presenter. Just always nervous,
Yeah.
You see,
forgetting what to say.
I'm sure. Well, I was looking forward to him saying how he'd have been a better Ducati rider than the chap who was riding factory Ducati in 2003.
Well,
That's what I was looking forward to.
We would have been teammates because I was told, Edwards, as the Italians call Colin.
Edwards. You were Ogson and Edwards always.
Ogson and Edwards. Edwards will be your teammate. I'm like, oh fuck, yeah. Obviously, I poker face. I went, yeah, no problem. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like Colin. Inwardly, I'm thinking, oh shit, I could do without that. When and then when they told me the good news, they went, oh, there's been a change, and Colin is going to MotoGP. I'm like, oh, all right. And your teammates will be Ruben's house. I thought, yes.
Rubbing your hands at that. Hey, Colin, when you cut off before, you were saying that in 2000, you had 3 years, they were giving you a couple of years. So there was a chance then of joining the Ducati project.
Yeah, that was kind of my way out of the World Superbike. They said, okay, we'll let you out, but we want an opportunity in a few years, let you get your feet wet in MotoGP. And but then they found Stoner, and I was kind of off the hook. So it all worked out. Everybody was happy.
It did all work out in the end for you. How do you look back on your time in Grand Prix racing, Colin? Because obviously you were so successful. You were in there and up towards the sharp end all the time. But how do you look back at it?
Well, and something that I forget, and a lot of people forget, is my first race on a MotoGP bike. I was 29 years old, so I was already, let's say, up there. And I don't know if you want to say past my prime, but when I got over there, I didn't think I was past my prime. I was ready to go. So it was just tough, to be honest. I mean, it was not a World Superbike. I had to readjust my whole braking style with the carbon brakes. That took a little while to materialize. But it was tough. And I always say, riding a MotoGP bike is like riding a bar stool, and your Superbike's like sitting on the couch. So it was a new world, and you just had to adapt the best you could.
Well, you did your time, didn't you, there? Because you were still there for another 10, 11 years, was it?
Yeah. I was fortunate for sure. And obviously, Valentino wanted me to be his teammate in 2005. So we did 3 years there. And then Hervé, I was really fortunate, honestly, with Yamaha US, because Yamaha US paid my bill, let's say. 2008, 9, 10, and Hervé, I think Hervé paid in 11. But anyways, 3 years in a row, Hervé was happy to have me. I was a good team player on the team. We had some good results, a couple pole positions and some podiums throughout. But yeah, Yamaha US, I was really thankful for them for paying the bill.
What was it like being Rossi's teammate? That's what people want to know, because obviously it's bloody Valentino Rossi, the enigma that is. What on earth was he like? The real Valentino behind the scenes. Obviously, I don't know Valentino at all. I see him, and we've all seen the TV Valentino, but what's the real Rossi like?
Man, honestly, I think what he portrays through the TV is very similar to who actually is. He's not an asshole behind closed doors or anything like that. I mean, he's just an all around good dude. But yeah, being his teammate, to get back to, it was understood verbally as, hey, we're not putting you in this team to win. That's not the main goal here. We're putting you in this team to have harmony, have a really good relationship. You have a good relationship with Valentino. Help him out. He helps you out. We get this bike going. But yeah, we're not hiring you to win. Which, if Valentino's hurt, then yes, go ahead and win. So it was already understood. And like I said, at that time I was 31, so I was looking for a killer paycheck and be a great teammate.
Yeah. Was there any moments though then, let's say that season or the seasons you was Valentino's teammate, that you was in a race and you had to roll off ever so slightly? Or was it just a case of, well, actually, I couldn't beat him anyway, so it didn't really matter?
Yeah, most of the times I couldn't beat him anyways, to be honest with you. The only time I was last race in Valencia where Nicky.
Oh man, is that me again?
And to figure out if I needed to go back and give him another point or two, but at the end of the day, he couldn't. It wouldn't have mattered. So it wouldn't have mattered.
I've actually got quite a big confession to make. I don't think I've ever said this to the public before. Are you two ready?
Yep.
Are you ready, Gav?
Go on.
All through my career, well, except 1 year, I was under team orders. I could have won so many. Could have won so many more races, but just had to back off, But I tell you what, I did it for so many years. I was bloody good at it. You wouldn't spot it. You'd think actually I was just riding a bit average, but I knew. So, but luckily in 2003 I was given the green light, so I just went, just want me to know that. You two don't ever forget that.
I'm calling bullshit on that.
Yeah, I'm with Colin.
Yeah.
I've got a question then about Valentino. As someone yourself, and were you nearly 40 or 40 when you retired from racing in the end, Colin? Obviously, you kept tested and kept riding after that. But Valentino, it looks more and more likely like he might go and do this Petronas ride. That's there's all sorts of things going on behind the scenes, and he says if he's going to do it, it's because he still feels competitive. What's keeping him going? Do you think? Because it's not money.
His skin. He's got a serious gambling issue. Do you guys not know this? No, go on. That's a joke, by the way. Go on, Cole.
No, I mean, hey, hats off to him. If he can keep going, keep going. But I think you have to look at all the factors. He's not married yet, is he?
No.
Yeah, so not married, no kids that he knows of. Anyways, his whole life has been motorcycles and winning world championships and being who he is. Hell, I mean, I say keep going until they tell you can't go anymore.
No wonder he looks so young and happy. Not married. He's not bloody kids. Bloody hell. He's nobody's fool, is he?
It didn't work for me, did it?
I don't know.
Look like bottom of a bin bag here.
Which don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything about wife or kids. I love them. I think
too late. Don't stop.
He has nothing taken at any time.
Yeah, but don't worry, Colin. I don't think Alicia, your beautiful wife's going to be listening to our podcast.
No, I'm just waiting for the gals that are listening to slate me.
Yeah.
There must have been some stories between you and him, and nights you'd had, and times that you'd had out post Suzuka or something like that. Because that you rode with him a couple of times at Suzuka, didn't you?
Yeah, that's basically where we met. 2000. Suzuka at the TEP, did a couple of tests there. And then, just hit it off immediately. I mean, Suzuka, it's pretty easy to make friends because you're kind of stuck in a hotel and the same restaurant. And
the old log cabin, as it was.
Yeah, log cabin. So it was fairly easy. And we all just hung out together and ate at the Italian restaurant and became friends pretty quick. Uccio was there. Albie, his friend, was there. So we all just kind of did our own thing. It was fun. Good times. But, it is Japan. It's boring. You're just at the hotel or at the racetrack.
And now, how are you finding TV?
Man, I love it. It's, just don't say a few select 4-letter words. And
do you know what? That was my biggest worry, because I've done interviews with you over the years, and it was always like, don't worry, just get the bleep button at the ready, you'll be fine. I remember one of my first interviews with you, I'm pretty sure it was South Africa, 2003. And I went to you on the grid, and it was the first time I'd come to speak to you, and I was doing pit lane. It was one of the first races I was doing pit lane, I think. And you told me how it was hard as dog's balls on the grid. I remember thinking, here we go. And so I always thought when you were going to do TV that we were going to have to work. But actually, there's not even been anywhere close, has there? Where we've had to get the bleep button out.
No, I don't think I've slipped up once yet. Knock on wood. I treat the TV stuff like I'm talking to my kids. I don't swear around my kids. So it's kind of the clean version. But I don't know. I thought I would have slipped up a number of times.
But it keeps you going. Go on, Neil. Sorry.
I think Colin doesn't swear too much, but he gets to the point in the day, near the end of the day, where it looks like he's drinking some water out of a water bottle. But I tell you, I've tried that water, and it tastes just like vodka to me. But I don't know. I think that helps.
The important thing is whether it's the Tito's in the water bottle, or never have the sip of the bottle of Coke that you think's out on the desk.
I'm holding a bottle of Coke right now, and there's not Coke in it.
Yeah. Explain that one, Gav.
Yeah. So, what's it called, Colin? The chewing stuff.
Red Seal Natural Long Cut, baby.
Hashtag. Please put tobacco on your gums responsibly. I don't know what they say. I don't know how it works, but and so Colin always has like a bottle spittoon, effectively, isn't it? It's like a transportable spittoon. And it sits on the desk sometimes, and you're sat there commentating. And you're like, "Oh, what's that? What's that?"
Yeah, it's a bad habit. Trust me, my wife tells me about it all the time.
It's always never pick up the empty can of Coke that's on the desk or anything.
No, definitely not. Do you think we're ready for the quickfire round, Gav? Are we there? Or?
Yeah, I'm more than ready for it. I'm just
Right.
hoping we stay online. I've dropped out a couple of times in the middle of the conversations, which I have to apologise to people at home about. My internet's obviously died today, so that's great.
So, Colin, we've come pretty much near to the end of the podcast. Everything you've heard before has just been small talk, really. The main questions are it's a quick fire round. I've got 5 questions, and it's just so people get to know you a little bit more. But it's I like to think it's the main.
I mean, the thing is, this quick fire round initially started as 1 or 2 questions. It's now turned into 5, and a whole segment.
I know.
I'm starting to query the. I'm going to have to speak to my manager about this, the agent.
No, I'm just going off feedback, and the feedback I'm getting from the 3 people that have messaged me have said, please, can Gav just do it on his own? No. So, first question, Colin, as a kid, whose poster did you have on your wall in your bedroom?
David Bailey.
Oh, nice one. The legendary Supercross motocross champion.
Yeah, and
who
not
unfortunately got
the photographer.
Paralysed.
Yeah.
Not the photographer. Over the years, you've been racing or just out and about on bikes. It could be racing. It could be messing around with mates. What's the craziest stroke, most impressive thing you've ever seen?
Oh,
It's a tricky one, that.
that is tricky. Honestly, I would say the boot camp crew, my guys here, completing the Baja 1000. That was by far the craziest thing we've ever thought we could do. We did it. Tick it off the bucket list. Never doing it again. It was nuts.
Whose idea was that in the first place? Was it Mike?
You know Mike Myers, crazy Mike here. Yeah, he wants to do Perry Dakar in a couple of years. I'm like, dude, you're crazy. Well, what's going on here? But yeah, he talked us into it.
Yeah. What is your favourite drink? I think I know the answer.
Yeah, pretty much anything with Tito's in it.
Tito's,
yeah. Tito's. Hey, you guys want a bit of Tito's?
That's our end of the day treat. Colin's like, you want a bit of Tito's?
The problem with it.
Honestly, I've mixed it with everything under the sun, just whatever you can find.
The problem is when he's always trying to throw it down my gullet, it's bloody neat.
Yeah.
Hang on, it's neat and it's warm. You know, like it's been in a water bottle. I'm like, call me old-fashioned. That's not really how I normally have my vodka. Next question. You've invited me round to your house. Obviously, this is never going to happen, so don't worry, Colin. You've invited me round to your house with your family, and you, not Alicia, you're going to cook me a 3-course meal. I want you to talk me through what you're going to cook me.
Oh, let's see. It'll probably be some broccoli in the oven with some Tony's on it. Get a little spicy. And throw some chicken on.
Yeah, what's Tony's? Like, I think Tony
like
toenails.
Tony Sachery. It's like a little spice thing. Broccoli in the oven, get it a little crunchy. Mashed potatoes and chicken on the Barbie.
Sounds well weird.
It's weird, but it is delicious.
Right.
And then the starter was crawfish étouffée.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's kind of a Louisiana southern dish. Mud bugs.
Sounds good.
And
right.
Then,
sorry, go on.
We gotta hit dessert real quick.
Yeah, go on. Do you know what I like?
What do you like?
Love spotted dick. God, I'm 12 years old, aren't I? I'm genuinely giggling. I'm giggling to myself.
I'll figure out how to make it, and I'll get you some spotted dick down your throat.
There you go. Things you never thought you'd hear. Words coming out of Colin Edwards' mouth.
Well, you hoped.
You're gonna go to a club, or don't know if you go to clubs or a bar with you're going, and you can invite 3 people with you, 3 riders, current or retired. Who's your 3 guys you want to take with you?
What do you mean 3 riders? Like they have to be famous?
Well, the story's a bit shit if you go Brian from down the road. He rides with me.
Okay.
Eric, the painter and decorator. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Colin.
All right, let's see. Who does have to be 3?
Yeah, only 3.
3. Let's say Haji, you're always a fun guy.
Oh, you're just so kind.
Let's say you, Valentino, and why not Bayliss? Yeah, that sounds good.
That'd be good.
That'd be fun.
That'd be good. I like that. Right, well, the last question is, over the years, you've raced against lots of people, loads of riders. Think of all those riders you've raced against. You know, you raced for 20-odd years. I mean, incredible. And motocross. But who is your favourite rider that you raced against in the past that now you work with on BT Sport? Just have it. I can repeat the question if necessary.
I'm gonna go Neil Hodgson.
What? Oh.
I think it cut out again there. That was the one time.
Gav,
one time it hasn't.
They're getting worse. They're getting worse, aren't they?
These are niche.
I actually hate myself now. I hate myself. I'm just such a dick.
Niche questions, aren't they?
Yeah. What a knob.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's you. Definitely not Colin. Right, Colin, we're going to let you get back to do some more prepping of Hayes' bike.
Yep, it needs it. It's been fun, fellas.
No, it's been good to talk to you. Good to have a little catch up, actually. And hopefully we get to have another one soon. You know, and we're talking about MotoGP.
Yeah, well, y'all keep me in the loop because I obviously have my nose down, buried in a YZ85 most of the day. So if any news does break, I probably won't get it. So keep me up to date.
We'll WhatsApp you.
We'll let you know.
Sounds good.
Send
Cool.
all our best to Alicia and to the girls and to Hayes as well.
All right, will do. Y'all be good. Hope families, everybody's healthy.
Take care, mate.
Look after yourself.
Right. See you, Col.
We'll see you.
See ya. Oh, you know what, Neil? I miss Colin. I do. I miss. It's so. I do love when we have him at the races because, as you said, what the thing is, he doesn't stay with us. He likes to stay on site, doesn't he? With his with Paul, who he mentioned, who runs a lot of the motorhomes, and he stays on site just because he gets a bit of a lie in. So it's actually sometimes we don't get to hang out as much as we normally would, but it's always good, isn't it?
Yeah, whenever you get a chance to hang out with Colin, it's a laugh, innit? But it's nice to catch up. I tell you what, bloody hell, his lad sounds quick.
Yeah. Well, we've seen him. We saw him. How old was he? About 11, 12 when he might have been younger when we were at the boot camp, and how quick he was then. Colin, as you said, Colin always was trying to encourage him to do baseball.
Yeah, it's like, you're not going to get injured, and I'm not going to have to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds trying to help you on the way. But if he's at where he's at already, having in his first season of racing, imagine he's racing against kids that have been racing like he did since they were 3 years old. If he's at that level, he'll get like a pro contract, like a motocross contract with someone, and then like he's on his way. Then the only downside to it is it's so bloody dangerous. Motocross is brutal, especially the American motocross, because they do the outdoors and all the supercross. Bloody hell. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd want my son doing it, all joking apart, because it is brutal. It is brutal, but good luck to Hayes.
I hope people enjoyed hearing from Colin, and he is exactly what he says on the tin, isn't he? He just what you see is what you get from Colin completely, and I do apologise for some of the dropouts in the middle of it. I know there'll be bits that won't make sense when I edit this later, but my internet's gone a bit squiffy today, so I'm running this off 3G. Neil dropped out a few times, sounded like a robot, so he's out of the house. So it's not been a good one technically speaking, Neil, but the bits that we heard of Colin, great.
Yeah, great. No, probably technically that's the worst one we've done to say, but we've just had a bit of bad luck, haven't we? But no,
Well,
always a pleasure
I mean,
catching up with Colin.
Guy Martins was harder work.
Yeah, that was the worst, wasn't it? Really for connection.
Right. Well, I hope you're allowed back in the house. Please shut the door when you go into the toilet, Neil.
Yeah, I know. I'm out
It's
of order.
not on. It's not
I
on.
know. It's not. I'm out of order.
In fact, when we share an apartment in Australia,
Yeah, I do it there as well.
do it there, yeah.
I know.
And
I know.
it wakes me up. Door open.
I know.
In fact, we were watching the Rugby World Cup semi-final last year, and you were doing it then with the door open.
God, that seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? Bloody hell.
Anyway, so yeah, for Vic's sake, come on.
I
Work
know,
colleagues
I
do not
know,
need
I
to
know.
hear you getting out your little pipe cleaner.
Pecker.
Getting out your spotted dick. Right.
Hey, we got Colin to say it. I was happy with that.
Is that all you were after?
Yeah, obviously.
Brilliant.
Obviously.
Right, you goon. I will speak to you
all
soon. Apologies, everyone, again for the sound, but we do our best, you know. It's all part of the charm. So they say. Right.
So that's it.
Cheers, Neil.
All right. Cheers, Gav. Take it easy, mate.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
You look after
Bye.
yourself, won't you? And,
Yeah, and you.
Send my best to Vic.
I will do.
All right.
Yeah, you said. Oh, I forgot.
What?
Bloody hell, nearly forgot. I love you, Gav. Nearly forgot. Bloody hell.
Just don't feel wanted.
Yeah.
See you. Bye.
Bye. Yo.
Well, it sounds like you've got squeezing a hamster or something in the background.
No, that was. I don't know what it was. It could have been a pheasant, in fact, or something like that. Some
What?
wild animal.
In your house?
Do you not keep pheasants in your house?
No, not since the
It
the
is
issue with
grim.
the police that time.
It's grim up north, isn't it? I forgot what it's like for you.
Have you been out to, what do they do? Beat them, don't they? They're beating what do they do? Beat the trees so they all fly up in the air.
Yeah, I'm a beater. I have a new job.
A beater. You're always
Master.
you're always beating
What?
off, aren't you?
What?
You are.
What?
Can you hear me all right, first of all?
Yeah, so you sound a fraction echoey.
Right. Basically, I've just had my whole system's just died on me. And I'm
Right.
like, oh, I can't believe this. So I was just talking to Gabriella. And
Yeah.
everything suddenly went like she couldn't call me on FaceTime anymore. And it was just like this weird silence that was gone around as well. So it was a bit of a bizarre one. So
weird.
I'm just trying to get the level sorted for you. Do you just talk to me, please?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've been wandering around. I'm outside now, actually.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, sunbathing.
Are you using headphones?
Yes.
Take them out. Why? Can you hold it like a normal phone? Or
Can
is
I?
that-
Yeah.
Is that going to be an
Yeah.
issue? Because it's going to be an
No,
hour
I
long.
don't mind. Well, I can do it like that if you want me to. Do you want me to try it?
Yeah. I was thinking, I wonder if you could use the microphone.
Is that any better? I'm now using it like a normal telephone.
Yeah,
How does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Right.